Joining us this week on the Daily Dose, we have a very special guest because Brady Kellogg is making an appearance here on the Dose on behalf of a group called Positive Athlete. Now, Positive Athlete is a high school student athletic recognition and development program. It's kind of starting to expand a little bit, had some success in Georgia, had some success in Pennsylvania, and they're looking, get this, to find scholarship opportunities for young student athletes. Kind of sounds like they're starting to have some success. If you have a young athlete in your life, trust me, you're going to want to hear what Brady has to say. But first and foremost, Brady, welcome to the Daily Dose. We are happy to have you here with us today.
Thanks, Clint. Happy to be here.
Brady, before we get going, and I'm going to drill down on this in a minute, but give me a little bit about your background. How are you involved in athletics? How did you come to be involved in this? Were you a coach? Were you an athlete? How did you get involved?
Sure. I've always been a sports fan. Actually grew up in Northern California, went to school out there as well at Stanford. And up until 2 years ago, my entire professional experience had been with the hometown Denver Broncos here. So
Nice.
leading partnership sales and did that from 98 until 2023.
So then how did you get involved in this situation? How did this come about?
Yeah, I was looking for something just more mission driven at this stage in my life to find ways to give back and do something that I felt personally motivated and passionate about. And fortunate to come across Positive Athlete. I had not heard of this organization, to be totally candid, until November of last year. They were doing amazing things, and really in the state of Georgia and then the Pittsburgh market. So fortunate to find them at the right time when they're in the midst of a national expansion that began in January.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask the $1 million question. Tell us exactly what it is that Positive Athlete does.
Sure. We recognize, empower, and connect high character high school student athletes in the most simple form. So it's an organization that was founded by Hines Ward, the former Steeler and our now CEO, in the Pittsburgh market 12 years ago. And the whole premise was that there are lots of great opportunities for 4- and 5-star athletes, as well as for kids who may have good grades. But instead, the play here was, how can we design something that is really accessible to all? Because this is based on attitude and character, which are within your control. So they went to market with a program accessible to all boys and girls, high school athletes in that market, and very, very well received, as you can imagine. And the rest is kind of history.
Well, and I love what you're saying because, hey, we can't all be 6'8", 240 pounds and run like a gazelle, but we can control our effort. We can control our attitudes. So I really like what you're talking about here. Maybe it's too early to tell, but what kind of success are you having so far?
It's great. And let me just keep going a little bit the history, and then I can branch into where we are in Colorado. But yeah, as you can imagine, the program was just very well received in that regard. So from Pittsburgh, it really migrated to the state of Georgia, where we've been operating for a decade. And 80% of the high schools in Georgia have nominees. We have given out nearly $600,000 in scholarships and see 5,000 to 8,000 nominations a year. So that really became the model market. And, you know, we have the good fortune now to expand into Colorado.
Wow, that is impressive. I love this because, you know, you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording. There are so many kids out there that just need maybe a little boost, just need a little bit of help. And there are way too many people that are out there looking to take advantage of kids, not actually give them that boost and give them that help that they need. So I absolutely love this. Maybe this is too broad of a question. Kids that are, you know, involved in athletics, what is the most important thing for them to kind of keep in mind in regards to this program? What kind of advice would you give a kid?
Yeah, well, first off, I got to jump in. We are free. We are free to the nominator, free to the nominated. And I think, to your point, there are a lot of people with different sorts of commercial models that,
You're
you
right.
know, to their credit, have found their niche. That's not what we're about. So it was designed to be a very easy process where any adult can nominate. So a lot of teachers, a lot of athletic directors, coaches nominate, but parents can even nominate their own kids. It's a 5-minute, super easy process. As we talked about, any sport, boys and girls, grades 9 through 12. And if you really want to think about it from our standpoint, we look for the kids who overcome obstacles. So is this an injury? Is this a family situation? those who give back in their communities, or those who just have a great attitude. So we don't care if you sit on the bench and don't play. That works for us too. If you're the right, high character attitude and mindset, that's really what we're all about. So a little bit different in that regard too.
This is absolutely outstanding. I love this, Brady. Who can apply? Any parent, any coach, teacher, whoever, who can apply for this?
Yeah, well, I'll jump in too, because a lot of programs are application based, led by the student. Ours is nomination based. So the key thing is it's an adult, so 18 plus can nominate. So, and you go to our website, positiveathlete.com. It's a very intuitive process, and that really sets in motion the process. I always encourage you to don't overthink it, right? There's so many benefits in it for the student athletes. Like if you're even considering it, just act on it. It can take as little as 5 minutes. And even if you don't have every last little detail, that's okay, because any nominated student gets an email and a chance to add to their own profile. And we really look at that total selection when we get around to our scholarships. And also want to jump in here, everybody, their ears perk, and rightfully so, at scholarships. And we're very proud of our giving legacy. But where we're different too is celebrating every nominee. So while we do awards events, while we do scholarships and have a very select competitive, through a competitive process, numbers of winners there, every nominee in our program gets free lifelong career, character, and leadership resources. And the data is there to back it up. So if you, Clint, as I think your words were, an average size fish in a small pond in high school, we're doing things the right way.
Yes.
I saw there that you officiated some middle school games. Let's say you're volunteering your time as a coach or a middle school official, you would have been a perfect candidate back in the day. And when you get that email, it says, Clint, you've been nominated as a positive athlete. 97% of those kids experience a boost in confidence. 96% of them are inspired to do more of what made them a nominee. And then 4 out of 5 of them report just being hungry for these sorts of additional resources we provide on topics that, to be candid, just, there's not enough time in the school day to cover in many cases.
Yeah, you're right. And I know just from a standpoint of going to a smaller school, you don't always have that person that's kind of lobbying on your behalf. So to have someone like Positive Athlete that's going to go and say, hey, here's some resources that you might not even be aware of that are going to help you. I'm telling you, you might want to get involved in this situation. So what about, I'm a young athlete. Maybe I don't have that adult in my life. How can young athletes go about getting involved in any capacity? Do they go talk to their coach? Do they go talk to, a parent, whatever? How do they get involved?
Yeah, I'd highly recommend, socialize with a trusted adult or a coach or a teacher in your life, because I think this is also an icebreaker into a conversation. We'd mentioned earlier, I think the stats we go off, 97% of the kids who play high school sports won't go on to play the next level. Right. At some point, everybody's career is going to come to an end. For me, it may have been the end of high school. For my son, it may be at the end of college. In a case like Champ Bailey, who's our lead athlete and well-known in this Colorado community from his work on the field with the Broncos, his career was done at 35, looking for other stuff to do. And if you think about it, there are so many skills developed during athletics, whether it's teamwork, work ethic, accountability of showing up on time, communication, what's it mean to represent your school with pride in a uniform. Those translate to the workforce. And that's really one of our driving purposes, is how you help prepare athletes for life. And if we can, help raise awareness on those transferable skills, and even beyond that, how to leverage that in a corporate interview setting. Put this on your resume. Anybody out there who's got kids who are high school age, they're all scrapping for the summer jobs, but whether it's another scholarship application or a first real job application, put on there that you're nominated as a positive athlete. And I all but guarantee you the interview is probably going to latch on to that one and say, tell me more.
Well, and that interview process alone is so invaluable for kids. So many kids don't get that experience. You're going to have to do it the rest of your life. You might as well get a little bit of experience doing it. I absolutely love this. What about just the typical parent, the typical fan? There's a lot of people that go just kind of watch their old school play. Can those fans go, hey, nominate a kid that they see in their community?
100%. I mean, there are kids out there doing things the right way, probably going home at night wondering, did anybody notice or care? And here's your chance for that reinforcing pat on the back. And I love this theme of go nominate somebody from your own high school. Heck,
Yes.
you may not even know who that is. Pick up the phone, reach out to your athletic director, a former teacher, a principal, ask, and say you want to act. Another great legend in our community, Jake Plummer, had exactly that conversation with him. So here we have Jake Plummer, Pro Bowl quarterback. He nominated somebody from his old high school in Idaho. He was actually one of the first ever nominees from that state. And that's just a great way. If you have Jake's credentials, great. But Clint, you can nominate. There's no limit to how many you nominate too. So, our perfect model is really, again, we love parent community engagement, but for a school athletic director to tell each of your coaches, just nominate one kid. Sure. If you want to do more, great, but it takes 5 minutes. You have all school year to do it. So why wouldn't you do this? Another part of your vocabulary, I think this is like common sense perspective. Well, this is common sense way to pay it forward and make our community stronger and better.
You're absolutely right. And I just love what you're doing. And it's funny because, you'd reach out on an email and I kind of looked at what you're doing and I was like, this sounds too good to be true. I got to check this out for myself. But my goodness, you're focusing on the exact things that we taught as coaches. And so many of these life lessons that you do get from athletics, so many of these things that you're going to carry forward the rest of your life. There are so many of us, I know I do. I still rely on things I was taught as a kid playing athletics. And I know sometimes athletic gets a bad rap. We know there's good and bad and everything, but some of those skills, some of those, character things you learned, they stick with you for the rest of your life. And to get an opportunity like this and to have a group like Positive Athletes going to back you and help you and give you some resources, like you said, why wouldn't you do this? This is absolutely phenomenal. Okay. What is the best way for someone to nominate? What is the quickest way? Is go to a website? What's the quickest way to do this for someone to get involved?
Yeah, I just say go to positiveathlete.org. It's a very intuitive website. You go to nominate. We'll formally open for nominations again with the school year cycle, September 9th. If you were to go today, depending on when you're actually listening to this podcast, worst case, if you're catching us and we aren't live during the school year, there's a pre-nominate thing, and that would trigger an automatic reminder. So I would say, well, it's top of mind, just go in there and do it. And then from there, you click on regions. Colorado, no surprise, we're in the Mountain region. You get to Colorado. Every day we're trying to enhance our website. We've grown quickly, right? From 2 people into 2 states. So very soon here, we should have information on our 14 student athletes we awarded last year, 2 coaches, and athletic director. And they are just amazing stories. And who knows, maybe on a future episode, we can actually have some of our award winners on the show, because I think that'd be really uplifting for everybody to see the future of what we have in this community. But Colorado has just been tremendous. So to give you a little perspective, when we expanded nationally, we have a staff presence in 7 different states. The goal was to get to 20% of high schools with nominees. Any guesses where we ended up in Colorado?
I would imagine you were pretty strong in Colorado, but I'm guessing
53% of high schools had nominees in just 3 months. So that is the highest percentage of any state in the country other than Georgia, where they had a decade head start. We also had nominees covering all 27 CHSAA states sanctioned sports, as well as many independent sports. Because, while we love the school sports landscape, if you are pursuing a sport independently, you're eligible too. And just knowing the different adventure and non-traditional makeup of Colorado, we love to celebrate as many different sports as possible. An aspect we've not yet had the chance to get into is Positive Athlete also has strategic alliances with many national governing bodies of sport. So think USA Wrestling, USA Swimming, even USA Team Handball, USA Archery. And I'll posit archery because I think we had over 30 nominees, archers, high school archers from the state of Colorado. And I got to tell you, there's some amazing stories in there. So it's really a fun way for these other sports to frankly source some stories they may not even be aware of from their own membership. So in that regard, it really is just a great aggregator of good news around sports.
This is absolutely incredible. I absolutely love what you guys are doing. I really do. And I told you before, to get involved in a situation with someone that is actually trying to help kids, trying to find good situations. And hey, it's not a matter of we're just going to give you a bunch of free stuff. That's not what it's about. You're going to earn it. You're going to have to be the right kind of kid. And I love that you're rewarding character, you're rewarding hard work, you're rewarding those attributes that so many times they get overlooked. And that is the best part about this. But you're rewarding them with what could be something really, really big. So I'm excited about that. You mentioned a little bit about coaches or administrators. Did you say something about they could be nominated as well?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I start with student athletes,
Sure,
right? They're
sure.
they're the focus of what we do. They are who the scholarships will go to. But
Right.
our system does also allow you to nominate a coach or an athletic director. So we had phenomenal things. So Jay Peltier is a track coach from Summit
Yeah.
High School up in the Breckenridge area. More than doubled participation in this program and did some really cool things to welcome, at least in particular, one special needs athlete. So he was one of our coach nominees, as well as Ray Lopez, Lincoln High School, who returned to his alma mater
Right.
and did some great things there. On the AD side, and this I think speaks to, we try to reach to every corner of the state. We're really proud to get into a lot of the remote small towns. So Roxanne Cerna is the athletic director at Centennial High School in the San Luis
Oh
Valley.
yeah.
She one of the most funding challenged districts in the state.
Sure.
She is able to secure new uniforms for all of her sports teams and new baseball dugouts. So those are the sorts of things that we look to highlight. I touched earlier on Champ Bailey being involved.
Yeah.
He was very, very hands-on personally for the awards event we did in June. So each of those individuals I mentioned, as well as our student athlete winners, personally were on stage dialoguing, interfacing with Champ.
This is outstanding. I absolutely love it. Brady, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. And I do want to say, hey, you've got an open invite. Anytime you want to come back on, we'll be in contact. We'll be in touch. But
Oh.
I really love what you're doing here. We're going to get this out to as many people as we possibly can. Hey, if you're listening, you owe it to whoever, you're kind of supporting. Go to the school, back to your old school, go check it out. You know, that kid that's working hard and maybe not getting recognized, get them on this list. And again, even if they don't finish at the top, they're going to get some reinforcement. They're going to get some support, and they're going to get some motivation and some confidence to keep it going. Brady, I want to thank you so much. Looking forward to working not just, with you personally, with Positive Athlete in general. I think this is a phenomenal cause, and I think it's something people should really, really get behind. I really love what you're doing here, but thank you so much. We would love to have you back anytime.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks, Clint. Thanks for helping spread our message. And my message, just don't delay, right? We all have things on our list and we don't get to it. It's 5 minutes. It's easy. Who
Yes,
knows? You could change a kid's course for life.
exactly.
I'll also say there are a lot of programs out there, but there's a reason why CHASA, the Colorado High School Coaches Association, all those people, this is why you got into coaching.
You're right.
Colorado Athletic Trainers Association from a mental health standpoint, Colorado Rural Schools Alliance, most recently the NIAAA, that is basically the governing body of high school athletic directors. There's a reason all these people are excited about our program. So encourage everybody to act on it.
Totally agree. And I'm excited about it too. Let's definitely stay in touch, Brady.
So thanks.